a phone call at the Logan County Genealogical and Historical Society from John Fuller. He was asking questions about the Good Government Council in the 1950s. He wanted to know who was on the Logan County Board at the time. We worked on his requests over the next several weeks. John made a trip to Lincoln and did his own research. And then, lo and behold, Bill Dona accidentally ran across a document vital to John's A Deeper Dive book. And that leads us into this evening and John's completed work, A Deeper Dive into the Good Government Council of Logan County in 1950s, Lincoln, Illinois. We especially recognize John for his graciousness in donating proceeds from his book to the Society. This week, we learned that local historian Lee Henson, who already has written a favorable critique of John's book, has nominated the book for recognition at the Illinois State Historical Society.
And there were 200 people standing by, brought by the GGC. People had been fined by Vincent Jones, but that money for their fines had never been turned in, and they were ready to testify. They had a Price Waterhouse audit that showed all this stuff, and it was not allowed into the trial. And again, a close community like Lincoln, Logan County. A lot of people knew Vince Jones, and he was like president of the American Cancer local drive. He had his pluses too. So, small town, they didn't want to see him convicted of this, so they said he was innocent. So by the law, he is. But he turned, a year after that verdict, he turned around and he sued the 18 people, those names I just mentioned. In the 3 years it took to solve that case, he added additional claims that in today's dollars, it amounted to about $2 million for each of those defendants. It would have cost him. And Marian, you were telling me, you remember your dad worrying about the farm and whether they were going to be able to keep it or not, depending on the outcome of this thing. So I'm so glad you came. So they got to this final trial of the 18. Bob Woods is one of the defense attorneys for the group of 18, and a couple attorneys from Springfield. And something happened, and when they got Vince Jones on the stand to testify, he had to admit that his claim was that all this publicity about his being arrested and indicted caused him to lose his JP election. They got him to admit that it was kind of general knowledge that was in the paper, that it wasn't the GGC putting those things in the paper, it was reports from the officials that he was short on his money that he was turning in. They never went to trial. The judge called a meeting in his chambers and said, Bob Woods wrote a letter saying, we were at the Hotel Lincoln eating, and the judge was over there eating too. It was on the noon break or something, and he got a phone call, and he got off the phone call, and he said he wanted to talk to me. He wanted us to come over and meet in the courthouse. And what had happened, this is after Jones testified that he really didn't have a case. They said they wanted to dismiss the whole thing, and that's after 3 years of making these people sweat this out. We got the books here. If I'll sign some if whoever wants one, and also if you have any questions or comments or anything. But I'm kind of here to learn too, and if this jogs any of your memories to add things into this story.
So yes, Hank Spillman told me a story, and I can't remember now who it was. It was someone from Lincoln who had served in the South Pacific with someone else, was walking down the street in Lincoln one day, and he saw this guy. He said, "What are you doing here?" And the guy said, "Well, what are you doing here?" And the Lincoln fellow said, "Well, I live here." And the other fellow said, "You didn't see me, I wasn't here." And it turned out that he was an FBI agent who had been sent to investigate this good government organization because the communists used that name a lot. And of course it had nothing to do with the communism, but he'd been sent to check it out.
Yeah.
This is where Ruth Kapik lives in Lincoln, Illinois. She's going to be 100 years old. And John is about to get an award for the Illinois Historic Society. And I'm sitting here filming this important event.
Wherever.
All right. Let's about the place a little bit. You remember my wife, Marian?
Hi, Ruth.
The other night, I work with his wife or volunteer with his wife at the Pink Shutter, and he said, "I would like for you to do something for me." I said, "Oh, I will if I can." And he said, "I want one of John Fuller's books."
Oh.
And I understand that you're going to be with him on Saturday.
Oh.
I said, "Yes." I wanted to say, "How in the world did you know that?" But I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But he said, "I wonder if he would have books with him." I said, "I'm sure he will have books with him."
I do have a couple.
And so he said, if I would get a book. And I said, "He's going to have a book signing. Now I'm obligating you." I said, "Would you like to have your book signed?" "Oh, that would be wonderful." So, and I think he said Mary Ruth was in his class.
Oh,
I think
okay.
so.
I can't tell Mary. She'll want part of the money.
To thank the Historical Society and Professor Lee Hansen. I'm from Lincoln, Illinois, Logan County, obviously. Came up from Florida for this event, but was nominated by another Lincolnite. He's a retired professor at Missouri State University, Lee Hansen. Many good times. He's got a great website that's received awards from this group before, but also I need to thank this wouldn't have been possible without my mother's scrapbooks and my dad's audio tapes that came out of the basement somewhere and thought it was going to be a few pages. It's a book. Also could not have done it without the help of Governor Adlai Stevenson, Al Capone, Coonhound Johnny, and numerous other colorful characters from Logan County, the slot machiner. The Taxpayer Federation of Illinois, I need to mention them also. They were really instrumental in the content of this. And never come without visual aids. Bill told me don't take any more than 15 minutes. So visual aids here. And can you all read this? This is my third grade report card. And in here, it has all A's except one B for writing. And my teacher, Ruth Kapik, she was born 100 years ago in July. And if she was here, I would ask her maybe if she could consider changing that. And, I think I see her right there. Raise your hand,